Good morning, students. Today we are going to do second story from your book Snapshot, and the name of the chapter is The Address. As the title indicates, the whole story revolves around an address. An address is house number 46, Marconi Street. A war was going on in Holland, and there are three characters, three protagonists. One, the narrator, whose name is not there, then Mrs. Darling and Mrs. S. Narrator is the daughter of Mrs. S, and Darling was her mother's friend. What happened before war and what happened after war, pre-war or post-war, both are given in this story. Very interesting and easy story. Let's listen to me carefully. The narrator went to the house 46, and there a woman opened the door, and she was standing there and asked the lady whether she recognized her, whether she knew her. The lady who had opened the door a little, the narrator came closer to the door and stood there. The woman responded negatively, and she nodded her head and refused to identify the girl. Then she gave her introduction. She told that she was Mrs. S.'s daughter. The woman had held the door tightly as she did not want her to enter the house. She kept staring at the narrator, though she could not recognize her. The narrator thought maybe she had come to the wrong address, the wrong house. She had seen the woman only for a short time, and that was years ago. The woman who answered the door stepped aside and let go of the door. The narrator identified her, recognized her mother's green knitted cardigan that the lady, Mrs. Darling, was wearing. The wooden buttons had become pale because of frequent washing. The woman noticed the narrator looking at the cardigan, and so she hid behind the door. Now, narrator was sure that she had come to the right address, right house. The narrator asked the woman about her mother. The women asked her if she had come back. She replied only to her, and no one else came with her. She told that only she had come back, none else. The woman opened the door, and a passage was behind her. A stale smell occurred all over. The woman told her that she could not do anything for her. The narrator asked her that she had told her that she had come from a far off place on a train and just to talk to her for a few minutes. But the lady said that it was not convenient to talk right now, and she asked her to come back sometime else later on. The woman closed the door as she did not want anyone to get disturbed in the house, and the narrator was still standing on the step. She saw a curtain moving on the window glass, and someone was staring at her from inside the house, and she thought it was nothing, as the women would have told her. The narrator looked at the number plate again. It said number 46, and Darling was written on the plate on the white paint, white enamel, and as she was going back to the station, she was thinking about her mother who gave her the address. It was the first half of the war, and she was home for a few days, and suddenly it struck her that the room was different now. She observed that various things were missing, and when she asked about those missing things, about missed things from her mother, she was surprised that she noticed the changes a little later. It was that time when she told her about this woman, Mrs. Dorling. She was an old contact of hers whom she had not seen for years. Suddenly she came to visit her, and since then they had been in regular contact. Her mother told her that whenever that woman came to visit her, she took something from the house with her, sometimes table silvers, sometimes antique plates, and she had to face a big trouble while carrying those large vases, flower pots. She told her that the cramp in her back came from the crockery bag. Her mother shook her head in sorrow, and the women kept telling the narrator's mother that she wanted to save her precious things, her valuable things. If they had to leave the place someday, they would lose everything. She asked her mother if she really wanted her to take all the things with her. Her mother replied that even if she did not, it would be an insult to ask her not to. She was going out with a risk herself. She was taking a risk for our things. Her mother noticed that the narrator was not convinced, her daughter was not convinced, and looked at her critically. So after that day, they never discussed about the incident again. She reached the station without noticing any details on the way. She passed the familiar things after the war for the first time, and she did not want to upset herself with the familiar sights of houses and streets that reminded her of all the precious time of her childhood, of her young age. Back in time, she saw Mrs. Dorling in person a day after her mother told her daughter about her. So when she was discussing about Mrs. Dorling, very next day, she saw that very lady. She woke up late that morning and she was going downstairs. She saw the lady with the broad back, and her mother was seeing her off, and the women responded, and her mother told and introduced the narrator to that lady, and she just made a gesture and responded with a nod only. She picked up the suitcase under the coat rack, and she was wearing a brown coat, a shapeless hat. The narrator asked her mother if she lived far away. The mother told her the address, Marconi Street, number 46, and she remembered it. She remembered the address, but she took too long to visit the place. After the freedom, she was on one hand not interested, and on the other hand was afraid also. She was afraid of getting confronted with past memories and connections that no longer existed. It means her mother had died during the war. But those connections were hidden in cupboards and boxes. It seemed that those memories were waiting in vain to put them back to their places, as they had suffered all these years because they were only things. Things were getting normal in narrator's life now. But one day she got very curious about all those things that were still at that address. She wanted to see them. She wanted to touch them. She wanted to have the feeling of her mother. After the first hopeless visit, she decided to try one more time. When she reached Mrs. Dorling's home, a girl of 15 years opened the door this time. And the narrator asked her about her mother. She told her that she was outside doing some job, some errand, to which the narrator decided that she would wait for her. The narrator followed the girl along the passage. There was a Hanukkah means a candle holder hung next to the mirror. She remembered that she never used it as it was very unmanageable. The girl asked her to sit down as she opened the door for the living room. She stopped and she was disturbed also. Why? Because she was standing in a room which she knew, but she didn't. But what's the complexity? She was standing in the middle of the things which she did not want to see, and they burdened her. Maybe because of the way things were arranged, the way the things were put up in the room, or in the humid smell in the room, or the ugly furniture. She was scared to look at everything. She sat down on a chair which the girl pulled out for her. She looked at the woolen tablecloth. She rubbed it and her fingers felt warm because it was woolen. She was following the lines of the pattern on that tablecloth. She remembered a burn mark was there which was never mended or repaired by her mother. The girl told her that her mother would be back soon and asked if she would like to have a cup of tea. She answered, "Thank you." The narrator looked up and she saw the girl put up 2 cups of tea in front of her. She had a broad bag just like her mother. She poured tea from the teapot and it had a gold border on the lid. She opened a box and took some spoons out of it. The narrator complimented the girl about the box. She felt weird hearing her own voice. It was sounding different to her. Narrator was feeling very weird there. As the girl turned to give her a cup, she asked if she knew about the box. The box was of silver. Then she added that it is antique and it was told to her by her mother. She pointed around the room and said that there are more. She told her to see, although the narrator did not need to follow her direction. She knew what she was talking about. She looked over the tea table. She remembered how she used to fancy the apple on that pewter plate. The girl shared that they used the plate for everything. Once they ate off the plates that were hanging on the wall, the girl wanted to eat off that plate too, but it was not anything special. The narrator found the burn mark on the tablecloth and the girl looked at her in a questioning way. The narrator said that when you are so used to touching things into your house, you hardly notice anything. You never give any importance to those things. You only notice when something is missing or it needs to be repaired or because you have lent it to someone. She again found her voice to be very unnatural. She continued, she told the girl that once her mother asked her if she would help her polishing the silver, and silver means silverwares, utensils. It was a long time ago and she was bored that day. She had to stay that day. Maybe she was ill and she asked her mother what silver she is talking about. Her mother said that it was the cutlery, the spoons, knives, forks, but she did not know that it was made of silver. The girl laughed and said that she bet she did not know it was either with what they ate with. The narrator asked if she knew. The girl hesitated and walked to the sideboard and opened a drawer. She said she would see if it was there. The narrator jumped and said she forgot the time as she had to catch the train. The girl asked her if she did not want to wait for her mother. The narrator still replied with a no and said she must leave. The girl pulled the drawer open. The narrator said she could find her way out and walked down the passage as she heard the ringing sound of spoons and forks. She went back and she decided in her mind what she would do in her smaller room. There is not much space to put that much cutlery anywhere. She was still living in a rented room and the windows were covered with black paper, and she decided to forget the address forever because it was very painful to remember those memories which reminded her of her precious time. Thank you. Have a nice day. Students, tomorrow I will send you the notes of chapter 1 and 2. Do them in your fair notebook and learn them simultaneously. Test will take place.